Let me be real with you for a moment. Most people say they want success, but they don't understand what that really means. Wanting success is not about saying the words. It's not about posting quotes. It's not about dreaming late at night and doing nothing early in the morning. Wanting success is about urgency. It's about desperation. It's about the kind of desire that doesn't let you sleep comfortably because your mind is too busy reminding you that you're not where you're supposed to be yet. Think about this. When your body needs air, it doesn't ask politely. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Your lungs don't say, let me scroll a little longer or I'll breathe tomorrow. No. Your entire system goes into survival mode. Everything else shuts down until you get what you need. That's the level of hunger most people are missing. They want success casually, but success demands commitment aggressively. You see, the difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not background. It's how badly they want it when things get uncomfortable. When the alarm goes off and your body is tired, do you move anyway? When the results don't show up fast, do you stay consistent? When nobody claps for you, do you still show up and give your best? Because that's where the real separation happens. There are people who work 2 jobs, studied at night, failed exams, lost money, got laughed at, and still refused to quit. Not because it felt good, but because quitting felt worse. They reached a point where average became unacceptable, where excuses sounded weak even to themselves, where comfort was no longer an option. Understand this. When you truly want success as bad as you want to breathe, effort stops being a question. Discipline replaces emotion. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't negotiate with your goals. You execute day after day, tired or energized, inspired or discouraged. Because survival level desire doesn't disappear when conditions change. It adapts, it pushes, it fights back. And when that switch finally flips in your mind, when wanting success becomes non-negotiable, your habits change, your standards rise, and your life has no choice but to follow. Let me challenge you right now. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack hunger. They say they want more, but they keep living like less is acceptable. They keep pressing snooze on their dreams, telling themselves tomorrow will be different, while today looks exactly like yesterday. Real success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to work, sacrifice, and relentless effort. Think about breathing again. When you're short of air, nothing else matters. Your phone doesn't matter. People's opinions don't matter. Comfort doesn't matter. All your energy locks onto one thing: survival. That's the same level of focused success demands. Not when it's convenient, not when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, and exhausting. That's when desire proves itself. A lot of people give up the moment pain shows up. But pain is not a stop sign. Pain is proof that you're stretching beyond who you used to be. Growth hurts. Discipline hurts. Staying consistent when results are slow hurts, but staying average hurts longer. Ask anyone who settled for less than they were capable of. The regret lasts far longer than the struggle ever did. Look at people who truly changed their lives. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They started broke. They started scared. They started unqualified. But they showed up anyway. While others were sleeping, they were learning. While others were complaining, they were practicing. While others were making excuses, they were building habits. Not because they were special, but because they decided their future mattered more than their comfort. Here's the truth. Motivation will fail you. Feelings will lie to you. There will be days you don't feel strong, confident, or inspired. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline says, do it anyway. Discipline doesn't care about mood. Discipline cares about results. And the people who win are the ones who move, even when their emotions are telling them to stop. When you finally reach that level, where excuses sound embarrassing, where effort becomes automatic, where quitting is no longer an option, you stop asking how long it will take. You stop comparing yourself to others. You lock in. Because when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, consistency becomes natural, effort becomes daily, and progress becomes inevitable. Let me speak to the part of you that's tired, frustrated, and wondering if it's even worth it anymore. The feeling right there is familiar to every person who ever broke through to the next level. The difference is not that they never felt doubt, It's that they refused to let doubt make decisions for them. They understood something most people never grasp. Success is not a moment, it's a mindset built under pressure. When you're gasping for air, you don't analyze the situation. You don't ask who's watching. You don't care how you look. You act. Instinct takes over because survival demands it. That's how badly you have to want change. Not just on good days, but on the days when everything in you wants to stop. On the days when progress feels invisible and effort feels pointless. That's when wanting it as bad as breathing matters most. Too many people confuse interest with commitment. They're interested when results are quick. They're interested when support is loud. But commitment shows up in silence. Commitment shows up when nobody is checking on you, when nobody believes in you yet, when the scoreboard still says 0. That's where separation happens. That's where character is built. Every major breakthrough is preceded by a season of discomfort. Muscles tear before they grow. Skills look messy before they become sharp. Confidence comes after action, not before it. The people who win are the ones who keep showing up while they're still unsure, still learning, still struggling. They don't wait to feel powerful. They move, and power follows. You have to understand this. Your environment, your habits, and your standards will either push you forward or pull you back. If you stay around excuses, you'll start using them. If you stay around discipline, you'll start practicing it. Change your inputs, and your outputs will change. That's not motivation. That's reality. At some point, something has to click. A moment where average becomes unbearable, where talking feels cheap and action feels necessary. When that switch flips, you stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You lock in, you apply pressure daily, and you keep going. Not because it's easy, but because quitting is no longer an option. That's what happens when you want success as bad as you want to breathe. Let me tell you something most people don't want to admit. They love the idea of success, but they're not in love with the process. I want the results without the repetition, the reward without the routine, the victory without the fight. And life doesn't work like that. Life only responds to those who are willing to give it everything they've got, especially when there's nothing guaranteed in return. Think about breathing again. When you need air, your body doesn't care about comfort. It doesn't care about timing. It doesn't care about how tired you are. It demands action immediately. That's the level of urgency success requires. Not someday, not when things calm down, right now. Because if you keep treating your goals like an option, life will keep giving you optional results. A lot of people stop when it gets lonely, when the support disappears, when nobody is clapping. But let me be clear, most victories are built in isolation, behind closed doors, early mornings, late nights, quiet sacrifices nobody posts about. The people who win are often misunderstood while they're building because discipline doesn't look exciting from the outside. It looks boring, it looks obsessive, it looks extreme. Until it works, you will get tired. That's not a weakness, that's human. But tired is not an excuse to quit. Rest if you must, but don't retreat. There's a difference between pausing to recover and stopping because you're scared of how hard it's getting. Growth will test your patience before it rewards your effort. That's the price of becoming more than you've ever been. Understand this, consistency beats intensity. Why every time? Anyone can go hard for a week. Anyone can feel inspired for a moment. But can you stay locked in when the excitement fades, when progress is slow, when you're doing the right things and still not seeing results yet? That's where discipline separates people. That's where futures are decided. At some point, you have to draw a line. A moment where you say, I'm done negotiating with my potential, where excuses stop sounding reasonable and start sounding disrespectful to the life you know you're capable of living. When that happens, effort becomes automatic, standards rise, actions align, and you don't need anyone to push you anymore because wanting success has become as natural, as urgent, and as necessary as breathing itself. Let me talk to you like someone who believes you can do more than you've been doing, because deep down you already know it. That restless feeling you carry, that quiet frustration, that sense that you were meant for more, that's not accidental, that's potential demanding action. And the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The problem is you haven't decided how badly you want it. When breathing becomes difficult, everything else becomes irrelevant. Pride disappears, Comfort disappears. Excuses disappear. Your body doesn't negotiate. It reacts. That same level of urgency has to show up in your work, in your habits, in the way you attack each day. If you only chase your goals when it feels good, you're not chasing them. You're visiting them. Most people quit mentally long before they quit physically. They start telling themselves stories. It's not the right time. I'll start when I'm more ready. Others have it easier. But the truth is, readiness is built through action. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself, especially when no one else is watching. Look at anyone who changed their life for real. They didn't wait for motivation to save them. They created routines that carried them on days motivation disappeared. They showed up tired, uncertain, even afraid, but they showed up. That's why discipline is powerful. It moves you forward when emotions try to hold you back. There will be moments when the work feels invisible, when the results are quiet, when the progress is slow. That's not failure, that's formation. That's life asking, how serious are you? Because if you can stay consistent without applause, you can handle success when it finally arrives. One day, something shifts. You stop explaining yourself. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop asking how long it will take. You lock in and move with purpose, not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because settling has become impossible. And when that happens, when wanting success becomes as necessary as breathing, your actions change, your standards rise, and your future starts to respond to the effort you've been avoiding for far too long.